So it's time to start working on some updates in this bathroom. I'm not going to be doing a great deal of things in here, but we have the same tile in here as the laundry room, and the color worked out so well in there that we decided to bring that in here. Probably the biggest thing I'm going to be doing in here is taking care of this situation. There's no actual door going from our bathroom to our closet space, just this cased opening. So our stuff's always showing, and I don't like the way that looks. So I'm going to build a sliding barn style door to take care of that problem right here. But the first thing I got to do is paint these walls. So I guess without further ado, I'm going to get after it. I finally got the splice to start building this barn door, and I'm a little nervous about it because it's going to be a 9-foot door, and I'm building the base of it out of plywood. They only sell it in 8-foot sheets, so I have to join 2 pieces of plywood together. Not real sure how that's going to go, but I think it'll come together in the end. So this is going to be painted wood. It's going to mimic a panel style door. We're going to paint it white. I think it's going to look really good in the space. I'm just kind of hoping all this comes together. So anyway, I'm going to start unloading the materials and get started. No doubt I probably could have backed my truck in the driveway and saved myself a little bit of trouble unloading this stuff, but I didn't feel like turning it around, so I just did it anyway. I still occasionally use an old Black & Decker circular saw that my dad gave me a long time ago. Well, I guess he didn't really give it to me. I just borrowed it and never gave it back, but put a Diablo blade on it, works like a charm. Now with the plywood ripped down, I can lay them out and get a good idea of just how large this door is going to be. 9 foot makes a pretty long door. So I'm going to use a biscuit joiner to join these, at least one of the methods that I'm going to use to join these 2 pieces of wood together. And so I take a small little ruler and just draw some lines kind of randomly so that I just have an area where I'm going to line up each one of the biscuits whenever I start cutting. And then I just line up on those lines that I made with the biscuit joiner, cut away. So while I'm using this biscuit joiner, it's not going to be the only method of holding this all together. That never worked. So I'm also going to use pocket holes and some glue, and there's also going to be a piece of trim overlaid over all of this that ultimately kind of ties everything together as well. The Craig pocket hole jig is a really cool tool. It makes some nice strong joints whenever you want to join two pieces of wood together, but there's a little trick to it, and since I don't use it all that often, it's got me before and it got me again today. Check this out. So on the back side, it has some settings, and you set it to whatever depth of material you're working with. So if I'm doing 3/4, I'll put it on 3/4, which is right there. But no, that's not where you're supposed to set it. You're supposed to set it at this arrow here, 3/4. So basically, I drilled a whole bunch of holes that are for the wrong depth of material. Luckily for me, this isn't really going to be a problem because it's going to be on the back side. I will fill it all in with wood filler and everything, and by the time I'm done there, I'll sand it. You'll never see it. I'm not going to use those pocket hole screws to screw this together just yet. I'm going to wait until it is fully dry because I'm going to join this together with biscuits. Now I don't have clamps to clamp these 2 pieces of wood together. This is 9 feet. I don't have 9 foot, 10 foot clamps. So I'm going to use ratchet straps. Let's hope it works. I'm going to be using my favorite wood glue today, Tight Bond. I'm going to put it all along the joint and a fair amount in each one of the biscuit holes and then squeeze it together, let it ooze out, but make sure to clean it up as you go because it's a whole lot easier than cleaning it all up later on. Then we're going to ratchet strap it together. Now all that's left is hope and time. I don't expect this joint to hold up as is. I'm going to use those pocket hole screws, plus there's going to be a 1x6 over that and down the sides, kind of holding everything together. It's a little sketchy right now, but I think it'll all come together. So while that dries up, I'm going to be chopping down some 1x6 material that I'm using to trim out the exterior of the door, the front side of the door. Now this is going to add some structural stability, but also it's going to give it some character. It's going to look much like a panel door whenever I'm done. But in the meantime, I am going to use some scrap pieces of wood to kind of temporarily brace things together. I'm going to use what's actually door jamb material to make a trim all the way around the door. And in order to make that work, I have to plane all of these trim boards down by 1/8 inch. Now this is where it really starts to come together. A little Tight Bond, some clamps, some brad nails, and there you go. We have a panel style door. started filling in holes, and I almost forgot that I needed to put trim all the way around the edges of this thing. I bought this trim here. It's nice. It's got a little rounded corner on it, and so I'm going to use it to trim out the sides of it on all 4 sides. I got to do some miter cuts, so let's get that started. Now time to fill in all the holes from the nail gun and any little gaps that we have, and also remove the temporary bracing. That way I can put screws in all of these pocket holes and fill and sand those down as well. Now that's what I'm talking about. By the time this is all painted white, you'll never notice these pocket holes were there at all, let alone the ones that weren't supposed to be there in the first place. And you know I'm going to go over all of the seams with my favorite caulk, Sasco Big Stretch. I try to get Sam involved in every project I can, and he's become particularly good with a paint roller. So anytime it comes time to paint, I try to bring him in. As you can see here, we're painting the header that's going to go above the sliding door. Okay, time to make the magic happen. Or at the very least, highlight all of my mistakes. That's what priming and painting usually does. While that dries up, I'll take my stud finder inside and I'll start marking all the places where I'm going to securely fasten my header. Now time to start mounting the hardware. Few things are more nerve-wracking than taking something you spent hours building and then drilling holes right in the front of it. But hey, we got it done. With the header securely in place, it's now time to start mounting the rail that the door is going to slide on. Very important to get this level. Now it's time to mount the door. I couldn't do this by myself, so I enlisted my neighbor's help, and he came with the appropriate footwear. And here's the step I see skipped the most often. You gotta have something to brace the bottom side of the door so it doesn't just swing around all loosey-goosey. You know I'm not gonna let it go like that. I think this is probably my favorite part, probably everyone's favorite part if I had to guess, but that's adding and mounting the hardware. It just gives such a nice completed look. And there it is, from dream to reality. We have a door to our closet. Man, does it feel good to be done with this project, and I couldn't be happier with the end result.